Well, Dylan, what that means is I'm an attorney by day and a husband, a father, and a Texan 24/7. And so I am not coming from this as a political advancement. I'm not coming as a longtime office holder. In fact, I was mayor of Galveston, where you were never paid, but you were everyone's friend, and you went to every event that you possibly could to support your community. That's authentic leadership. What I see in Texas right now is we are lacking that level of authenticity. And so I'm calling myself an authentic progressive because Texas desperately needs Democrats who are authentic and progressive to lead this state. To me, that office has the greatest opportunity to make change happen now. I mean, I understand you want to run for the House of Representatives. You'll be one of 150. Similarly, in the Senate, one of 31. But Attorney General, which is certainly my skill set, having been an attorney for 35 years, you can affect policy in the courts. You can be the general counsel for the state of Texas. And Lord knows, we desperately need a lawyer who can give sound advice to our executive and legislative branch. Right now, the Attorney General is simply a consigliere for the Republican re-election machine, and that is causing men, women, and children to suffer. Dylan, I would like to see the Attorney General's office lead in a way where people aren't thinking about Democrat or Republican. Right now, we're forced to look at it through that prism, through that lens. But as Attorney General, I'd like to return the office to that of a consumer protection agency. The lawyers who I am friends with will tell you that deep change can happen in the courts. And so the Texas Attorney General's office should be looking for opportunities to sue, to be clear, to challenge corporate greed, and let people know, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or independent, that the Texas lawyer has your back. Also, I think election law needs reform. Right now, Ken Paxton has frankly succeeded in making voting a white-knuckle affair. What I mean by that is people are scared. They're worried, do I do it wrong? Will I be indicted? Actually, we need to make voting easy again. And while that certainly rests on the legislature to make some changes, the Attorney General can do positive things. What if I told you there was a law on the books right now requiring every principal in every high school, public, private, charter, religious, to let every 18-year-old register? That's not being enforced right now. The Attorney General could pleasantly enforce that, and then our 18-year-olders, all of them, would be drafted into being good Americans. Well, it has been a long time since a Democrat has served statewide. When my wife and I graduated law school in 1991, Ann Richards was governor. We kind of thought that was going to be the status quo. Well, we were proven wrong. But after 3 decades of Republican control, there's a great dissatisfaction out there, Dylan. And so what I'd say is, when you look at how many people are dissatisfied, and you add to that an equal number, if not a multiple of that number, who simply don't vote, this is an opportunity for Democrats to finally coalesce around a message that is about solving problems rather than simply manufacturing re-election talking points. So after Kerrville and Kerr County, after Uvalde, after the ERCOT failure in 2021, all these things are costing people lives. And the Republican Party simply just wants to distance itself from the federal government. These talking points aren't going to work anymore. So as Democrats, we're going to talk economic change. We're going to talk about men, women, and children being valued regardless of their party affiliation. Dylan, it was a spirited campaign in 2022, and Rochelle Garza won fair and square. I immediately endorsed her, and I was sorry to see her lose in the 22 general. But since then, I've not stopped. I've become a vocal Democrat on a radio show on KPFT called The Midterms with Joe Jaworski. I've written op-eds in all the major newspapers. My voice has been heard. And I've been a supportive Democrat, helping other candidates in the 22 and 24 cycles. I've learned a lot because the Democratic Party is so sorely understaffed. Now we have a new chairman. I think we have a new vitality, and voices who have both experience but also fresh purpose, like I do, are going to be what puts Democrats in a statewide office this time. We've learned how to campaign better, and we will put that into action. Sure. Well, I think that the Republicans are going to have a big fight to get Mr. Trump's endorsement, and that's all the Republican primary is going to be about. They'll ruin each other's pelts in the process, and whoever survives is simply going to have the Trump moniker right on their forehead. Mr. Johnson has a safe Senate seat. I think that he'll probably talk a lot about his record as a senator. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about my experience in local government, my experience as a trial lawyer, my experience as a Democrat who's been all around the state for the last 3 years, and even before that during the 22 cycle. I will be the progressive voice, the one who simply is standing up because men, women, and children deserve better. There won't be any record of collaboration or compromise that I think would cause a problem for many Democrats. Well, first off, we would turn all the records over to the public so we could have a truth and reconciliation about the damage Ken Paxton has done to the esprit de corps of the Attorney General's office. Once a proud institution, right now there are so many people, Dylan, working there just trying to get by day. We would have, secondly, an opportunity to let every principal know it's time to register the 18-year-olders. That letter would go out within the first week, Dylan, in January. Principals, if you haven't done it yet, you need to have your second round of registration. That would be a positive, non-threatening letter, and hey, we'll come to your high school and help you celebrate. And then third, we would create a voter enhancement division to replace the voter suppression attitude right now. We would have a civil rights division. This would protect everyone's civil rights. And then we would have a consumer protection division that would be second to none. We would actually want to investigate people who are suppressing the vote. My son, for example, was out of state for college. Proud of him. He wanted to vote in his first opportunity, and they turned his vote aside without telling him because his signature wasn't perfect. Those sort of things happen all the time, Dylan. Now, children these days are working on computers rather than practicing penmanship. And it strikes me as odd because you go to the grocery store, sometimes you have to sign for the credit card, and a dash with the pen is sufficient. But somehow there are people who are canceling votes because the signature is not perfect, canceling votes because you can't remember whether you gave your Social Security or your voter ID number. These kind of gamesmanship are depriving people of their voice. So a voter enhancement will look at the law and allow for the greatest capability for people to vote. We will make sure people's votes are counting. Well, just that as a lawyer, as a father, as a husband, I am proud of the state that I grew up in, but I see storm clouds everywhere I look. It's time for the Democratic Party to offer an alternative to all Texans who are looking for hope. The Attorney General's office can do the greatest good in the greatest, quickest time, and it will be my honor to be the next Attorney General of Texas.